Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawadan, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, of great millstone that taught us this truth and ever will. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson real quick. It's going to be a really short one, but it's going to showcase a video that I just happened to come across not too long ago. And pretty much is, I was just listening to this here video and everything else going on. And pretty much just, scriptures is just going off, and it's funny how it was all just worded. It's just like, and somebody took a video and, it was a Joe Rogan video, but somebody else is pretty much critiquing this here video. So you'll hear two different voices or, you'll have Joe Rogan talking and then some of his guests, but then there's another person in the video that's kind of narrating this thing, but it all falls in line with the scripture. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let this here video play. It's about 2 or 3 minutes long, but want to grab some of these pieces of video and then we'll go over some scriptures as well. All right, here we go.
The World Economic Forum and things along those lines are so fascinating because you can see that they're the ones that are holding the strings that dangle the narratives in front of the people that make them attractive. And then you realize, like, well, this is not our real problem. Our problem is not really these narratives. Our problem is who's promoting these narratives and what are they doing while they're promoting that and we're distracted.
Such a great question to ask.
And real quick, that's part of the, something I was speaking on, what was it, last week or the week before, dealing with the quote unquote balloon UFOs and everything else like that. The first time I heard that, I was like, man, sounds like, it's a distraction or something that's going on, because you have a lot of big major things that have major consequences that's taking place at the same time, but nobody's really talking about it. At the same time of that going on, you had the revelation of the Nord Stream pipeline being blown up, the evidence pointing, towards America doing it. All right. Then you also had, that, those chemical spills here in America as well. All right. So, and then nevertheless, you could just, again, like they'll speak on, go and look at the different laws that get passed behind the scenes that you never know about. Some of the most laws get passed around the Christmas break, when a lot of the people are at home, they're not watching there with their families and things like that. That's when, they push a lot of laws through. All right.
Who's behind the narratives? Because that helps so much. Because sometimes you're just seeing something going on and you're thinking it's just this person versus that person, or this take versus that take, or this environmental problem versus this thought towards that environmental problem. And it's not always the case. Sometimes there's people directly behind it on both sides that are making this narrative happen before your eyes. And a good question is while you're distracted, what are they actually doing? And a good exercise that I always do is anytime there's something going on in the news, I don't do this cold-heartedly. I do this very, observationally. I don't know what to call it. But when something's going on, I start looking into like laws. I start looking into, what the government's up to, what laws are being passed,
what they're trying to institute.
And see exactly what, I was just speaking about, man, looking at what's going on behind the scenes. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, "Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." All right. So, hey, or over here it says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. And so, again, you have to look for this distraction, just like this guy was talking about. A lot of the times when you have these big distraction stories going on in the news, there's something else behind the scenes that's going on. Something as big as, when you see headline news, Chris Rock gets slapped by Will Smith at the wherever they was at. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, is pretty much distraction stories for what's really going on. All right, they have you looking at this and looking at the whole world's talking about these things, and it's just like, why is this the news? You know what I'm saying? Who cares about, what does that have to do in the world of, the how do I say, the movement of the world? How does that have to do with anything that's going on? One guy slaps another guy on TV. Big deal. That ain't got shit to do with nothing else, man. All right, I like to say that about a lot of different things. Like, yeah, whatever happens, on that sport game or whatever is going on, it's not really changing my life. You know what I'm saying? I can go my whole life without watching whatever sport this is, and nothing is really going to ever change beyond that. That's just something else that's like a distraction to keep me occupied doing something else. All right. So let me play the second half of this here video, and we're going to get into, let me get this up real quick. All right. Matter of fact, let me read this first. This is Revelation 3 and 10. Revelation 3 and 10 says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell on the earth. All right. And as they're about to start speaking in on this here scenario, you're going to see pretty much this is exactly what is coming to pass here. All right. We're going to read this here shortly about Revelation 13 and 16, but you're going to hear them explain it. This is what the end game plan is. The end game agenda is, they have all these different forums and things and these big talking events and all these different things is going on. But at the end, the end goal for all this is setting up what? Their New World Order system. All right. So here we go.
Decentralized digital currency. They're trying to,
looking into like laws. I start looking into, what the government's up to. What laws are being passed?
Well, they're trying to institute a centralized digital currency. They're trying to, give people vaccine passports and some sort of a social credit score system. They're trying to do all sorts of weird methods of control that you're not going to be able to get out of it if you're on the left or if you're on the right. It's going to fuck up everybody's life. And in the meantime, we're arguing about who's right, Greta Thunberg or Andrew Tate.
Right.
Like, it's like these distractions that they put in front of us in the media that get us so hyped up. While real shit is going down, that there's real decisions that could be made that might affect you forever.
And that's part of, what they do is they put people in groups. If you can group somebody and categorize people into certain things, which, going into, you're not going to go too far into that. But nevertheless, when because, they have this information and stuff like that, when you go further into these here words. But like I said, it's only going to be a short video. But going into, that left-right paradigm. All right, putting people into these different groups to where you have divide and conquer. All right, it's a lot easier to take down, a massive group of people if you can divide them up and conquer them that way, man. All right, so hey, this is part of the thing that they have. They'll create one far extreme narrative on one side, and then the other far extreme narrative on the other side. They'll get people to group on one side or the other side, and then they'll allow them to just sit there and go to war with one another and tear each other down and go and sweep up the rest. All right, and then that way they'll easily be able to control and manipulate people. All right, because again, on one side, like using their example of the Andrew Tate, right, or the Greta Thunberg, it's just like those are like buzzwords nowadays. You can say certain things. It's like or something about anything about a woman. I like feminine women. Oh, you must be watching Andrew Tate. You must be a follower of Andrew Tate. It's just an immediate buzzword. And if you just so happen to say, yeah, I know who that is based off of, somebody else bringing it up. And I was like, what the fuck is Andrew Tate? And I got to go and look up this Andrew Tate guy. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know who he is now. Oh, you follow. Again, it's just a buzzword, Nowadays, this is what it is to group you into this thing and just automatic. And then with that grouping, they can just automatically, cast you away. All right. Oh, you believe it. Just like conspiracy theories. Oh, you believe in conspiracy theories. Oh, you must be this. You must be that. Oh, you listen to Kanye. Oh, you listen to Michael Jackson. You must be a pedophile. You listen to R. Kelly. You must be, you see what I'm saying? They use these things as buzzwords and they put you in these groups. But ultimately, this is what it's going to come out to, man. All right. And they're talking about this World Economic Forum and, this, what they call a social credit system and all these different things. This is ultimately what they're trying to plan on to getting you into. All right. Let's read this in Revelation 13 and 16. We just read about how that great temptation is going to come upon the whole earth. Try them to dwell upon the earth, right? You're going to have to make a choice. Which side are you going to be on, right? Now, they give you these different groups and everything else like that. But then ultimately they come in with how do they say, something in the middle, more or less to say. All right. They give you a far extreme on one side and a far extreme on the other side. And then they pull you into the middle. And now they got control over you, man. All right. Because both sides if you're on either of the other sides, it's too far extreme. So they just, hey, this is where we're going to be cool at in the middle. All right. Revelation 13 and 16 says, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. All right. And so going back into this, like the social credit system. All right. You're not going to be able to buy or sell. All right, unless you have, you want to see how this is going to look like, go and look that up, the Chinese social credit system. Now, if I play this video long enough, they'll kind of give you some background on it and everything else like that. I'm not going to let that much of the video play, but, this is pretty much just going head on into it, man. All All right, this is what they was pretty much talking about. All right, let me go ahead and pull this next precept up. I'm gonna let a little bit more of this video play, but
now that's such an incredible point made by Joe. At the end of the day, when it comes to these things, it's going to be the right and the left affected. It's going to be black and white. It's going to be middle class, poor. It's going to be that homeless guy that you don't even want to make eye contact with.
and see, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. All right, everybody's going to be affected by this, right?
And the person who's serving you food of which you treat pretty shitty. It's going to be all of those people. It's going to be the nice girl who you wave at, who you hope you get her number. It's going to be the guy who's staring at you in the gym. We are all going to be in this together. It is going to suck if we let this type of stuff happen.
That great temptation is coming upon the earth, man. All right, it's either you're going to fold to the system, all right, or you're going to be basically cast up out of the system, man. All right.
And when it comes to things like a social credit system, I know 3 years ago, you'd hear that and you'd be like, that's a conspiracy theory. It's a stupid conspiracy theory. You just saw that episode of Black Mirror. You know that's not going to actually happen. That's just a Netflix show. Stop being ridiculous. And here we are. Ask our friends in the East. I don't even know if I can say their name. But
and we'll stop the video there. But, you know, hey, dealing with, like I said, you know, you can look it up, the Chinese social credit system and everything else like that. But, hey, just like you said, you speak about this a couple years back, and people think it's a conspiracy. Oh, they can't do that. They would never do that. This is America. They could do. They say all those different things, but look at where we at right about now. All right, we're gonna close out here in Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time." All right, it says the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So, hey, this is for an appointed time. All right, just because you know, and that's one of the things that pretty much that the prophets always get. You know, oh, y'all like conspiracy theorists. Y'all talking about things, because when the prophets say things, that's what it is to prophesy, to say before. When the prophets say things, it's before it actually happens. All right, but then ultimately at the end all be all, you see it coming into play. Then you know, hey, like the scriptures say here, the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not tarry. You know, not tarry or not lie. All right, you know, but hey, even if it's tarry and wait for it, it'll surely come. All right, but ultimately, this is what we've been telling you from the beginning, man, that the Lord's vision is going to ultimately come true, or all of them are going to come true. You know, a lot of the visions already came true. You got, you know, if you got 100% of them, let's just say about 80 to 90% of them came true. You don't think the rest of it is going to come true? All right, don't be so naive. All right, but nevertheless, you know, just want to touch in on this here quick little video I came across, because listening to their video, you know, it just stuck out to me. You know, hey, before they even got to the Chinese social credit system and everything else like that, I immediately thought about, hey, this sound like the MOTB that they talking about. All right, but nevertheless, hey, you know, this is what we are tasked with. You know, warning the people. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I'm gonna say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Badash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and ever will. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.